Big news for every Heartland fan. Season 19 is officially happening, and the first cameras are already rolling. Production kicked off on May 29th in Alberta. The familiar ranch roads are busy again. Cast and crew have returned to the fields and barns that feel like home. Amber Marshall has confirmed they are back at work, and the excitement shows. You can almost hear the gates swing open and the horses stamp the ground. Here's the question everyone asks next. When will we watch it? There is no official premiere date yet. If the pattern holds, fall 2025 is the safe bet. Late September or early October has been the rhythm for years. Mark the season in your mind and keep an eye on the calendar. Let's ground ourselves in what just happened. Season 18 set the Bartlett-Fleming Ranch against drought. The story matched real challenges that Alberta ranchers faced in 2023. Fields were written as dry and broken. But the weather had other plans when filming began. Instead of dust and cracks, the crew stepped into green. Wildflowers pushed up. Hills looked fresh. Amber joked that they were shooting a drought in one of the wettest seasons they had felt. It was a strange gift. The land looked alive while the script called for hardship. Did it clash with the story? A little? Did it remind everyone why this show loves Alberta? Completely. Season 18 was not only about weather, it was about rivalry. Price beef came in hard, with money, pressure, and a plan to reshape the region. The fight threatened what the Bartletts had built across generations. Lines were drawn. Neighbors chose sides. Every deal had a shadow. That pressure bled into personal lives, and the stakes doubled. At the heart of it stood Amy. She carried the work. She carried the grief. She carried the hope that the land could still heal. Then came Nathan. Their connection grew in the small moments. Shared rides. Quiet talks. The kind of looks that move a story forward without a single word. By the finale, that slow pull became a clear step. They kissed. For many viewers, the kiss felt like the end of one long chapter, and the start of a brave new one. Not everyone is ready to close the door on Ty. Some fans hold that hope tight. It is a powerful hope, because Ty changed the meaning of family for this show. Season 18 did not erase that, it accepted it. It showed Amy learning to love again, not forgetting what came before but honoring it. Now the spotlight shifts to Season 19. First, expect the horses to move back into the center of the frame. At the start of each year, the team maps arcs and asks hard questions. Which horses can carry a story? Which breeds fit the conflicts at hand? Which disciplines can challenge the characters and delight the audience? Amber has pushed for this return to roots. As a producer, she wants the animals and the craft of horsemanship to lead again. That choice feels right. Heartland is never stronger than when a horse tests a person's courage and kindness at the same time. There is also a whisper that has grown louder. Could we see Ty again in a way that fits the truth of the show? Not as a living return, as memory, as flashback, as the tender visit that happens when grief softens and love stays. If Season 19 deepens Amy and Nathan's bond, it also gives Amy more space to say a full goodbye. Dreams, daydreams, moments where an old scene plays from a new angle. If those scenes arrive, they will be brief and emotional. They will honor the past while pointing forward. Fans know Amber and Graham Wardle share a real friendship off-set. That friendship makes a respectful cameo feel possible. If it happens, prepare your heart. Here is where the rumors start to race. Some say Amy and Nathan will push through the rivalry and make a bold choice. Marriage would unite two ranches and change the balance of power overnight. Romance turns into strategy in a world where land means survival. That choice would not be quiet. Nathan's sister showed her teeth in the Season 18 finale. She looks ready to stir every pot she can find. Expect resistance. Expect scenes where love and loyalty collide in kitchens, barns, and boardrooms. Others think the triangle is not settled at all. Caleb still matters to this story, and to Amy's past. Will he bow out with grace? Will he step up and speak the truth he has held back? Some leaks suggest he will draw a line if Amy chooses someone else. If that happens, the ranch will feel his absence. He has been part of the heartbeat for a long time. That is only the first layer of the coming season. Politics waits in the wings. Lou has worn that hat before. Price Beef plays a long game with money and influence. The ranch needs a counter-move with skill and public trust. Lou can be both sharp and steady. If she steps back into the arena, expect speeches, strategy, and a fight to protect what the family built. One more thread is ready to rise. Katie is reaching the age Amy was when everything began. First love often finds people at that age in this world. Viewers miss that young spark. A new relationship for Katie would echo the earliest chapters and remind us why the show endured. Some fans even believe the long arc will shift more attention to her over time. That is a big move. Exciting for some, unsettling for others who never want to see Amy pushed aside. If season 19 plants the seed, the series will decide later how far it grows. Before we close this first part, there is a development worth cheering. A dedicated Heartland streaming channel is on the way. That means the older seasons can live together in one place. It helps new viewers start at the beginning. It helps longtime fans revisit the scenes that made them fall in love. It also hints that the story is still growing an audience around the world. The ride into season 19 has started. Cameras are rolling. The land is green. The stakes are real. Keep your boots on, because the next turns are about to test every bond this family has made. The heart of Heartland is a horse and a human learning each other's language. Season 19 looks ready to bring that truth back to the front. Expect training arcs that test skill and patience, not quick fixes. Real work. A high-spirited mare that refuses the bit. A rescue gelding that panics at a gate. A foal born in a cold snap that needs round-the-clock care. Each case asks a question. Can empathy beat fear? Can routine beat chaos? Can love set a boundary and still stay kind? Viewers have missed the craft, the groundwork, the quiet hand on a trembling neck. When horse stories lead, character stories sharpen. Amy grows when a horse refuses to be rushed. Jack grows when tradition meets a new method that works. Tim grows when pride yields to what the moment needs. Those are the scenes that built the show's soul. There is talk of new breeds and new disciplines. Think cutting for cattle work and reining for control. Maybe a trip into barrel racing speed to raise the pulse. Maybe a draft cross that challenges every assumption about what strength looks like. The team asks each year what the horses can truly do. They do not fake the work, they build it. That respect shows up on screen and earns trust from riders who watch with a sharp eye. Therapeutic riding could return as more than a mention. Horses help people carry grief without words. A veteran who cannot sleep. A teen who shuts down in crowds. A widow who does not know how to start a new day. 1 hour in the saddle can unlock something that talk could not reach. Those arcs honor the power of the animals and the people who care for them. All of this happens while the rivalry tightens its grip. Price Beef wants scale and control. They pressure suppliers, they court lenders, they shape a narrative that says tradition is waste and growth is the only path. It looks clean on paper. It hurts in the field. The Bartlett Fleming Ranch answers with community. Neighbors who share hay when a shipment runs late. A co-op bid at a critical auction. A handshake that means something because the people involved have buried fathers on that land. This is not nostalgia. It is a different business model, slow and local, stubborn and proud. The clash will not end with a single contract. It will move from pasture to council meeting to a courthouse with a draft that needs a signature. Every step pushes the family to decide what they are willing to risk. Here is where Lou's skill becomes a weapon. She knows bylaws and budgets. She knows how to read a room in a spreadsheet. If she steps forward, expect a plan that blends policy with heart. Water rights matter. Grazing permits matter. Transport logistics matter when fuel prices jump. A smart plan could protect the ranch without breaking what makes it special. Now to the rumor that keeps every thread humming. Flashbacks, not a rewrite of history. A mirror held to the past so the present can see itself clearly. Amy does not forget Ty by moving on. She honors him by living honestly. Memory can arrive without warning. A song in the truck. A leather jacket at the back of a closet. A horse that reacts to her touch in a way that feels like an old lesson returning. Brief scenes could show moments we never watched. A laugh in a kitchen. A promise under a sky full of stars. a ride where silence felt safe. Those glimpses would not stall the story. They would feed it. If those scenes land, Amy and Nathan change. They stop being only a new romance. They become a choice, made with eyes open. That kind of choice holds. It also creates room for conflict that feels earned. Nathan has his own history and his own scars. He has a sister who plays games with stakes that are not hers to pay. He has a ranch that pulls him in directions that love may not like. When pressure hits, do they stand together or pull apart to protect what they each hold dear? Caleb is the wild card. He carries years of loyalty and a stubborn streak that has saved the day more than once. He can smile through pain. He can also shove when he believes a line has been crossed. Some believe he will make a final push for Amy's heart. If he does, it will not look like a speech under a porch light. It will look like action at a hard moment, showing up when a horse goes down and the night turns long, taking a risk on a deal that keeps the ranch alive, offering a truth that hurts and helps at the same time. If Amy chooses another path, he may step away to protect himself. His exit would leave a space that rattles everyone. Katie's rise adds light and risk in equal measure. She is at the hinge age where a single summer can change a life. First love could arrive on a trail ride or in a tack room after a small victory. That spark brings joy for viewers who remember the early days. It also brings danger. Young hearts break. Young riders make mistakes when they push past what a horse can give. A well-written arc will let her fail safely and learn fast. Guidance from Amy would tie the generations together. Guidance from Jack would set a bedrock under her feet. Season 19 also has room for one big external test, a market swing that slashes cattle prices, a surprise frost that hits late and burns the early growth, a supply chain snarl that delays feed and medicine. The ranch survives when the family adapts in hours, not weeks. Those challenges build story without cheap shocks. They also give horses meaningful work that shows on camera. Sorting cattle with speed and care. Doctoring in a storm. Hauling water when a line fails at the wrong time. Now back to the possible marriage that set comment sections on fire. Amy and Nathan could decide that love and strategy need the same answer. A wedding unites two ranches on paper and in spirit. It weakens outside pressure because divided land is easier to bully. It also creates conflict at the dinner table. Who leads when money runs short? Whose traditions hold when two families share one brand? Who gets the final say when a horse needs a hard call? Those questions write scenes that bite. Nathan's sister will not watch quietly. She tested boundaries in the season 18 finale. Expect sharp words that land in the softest places. Expect moves that use law and rumor with the same cold focus. Her presence forces Amy to defend her values with action, not speeches. It also forces Nathan to prove which side he stands on when standing costs something. The most powerful hook remains simple. What kind of family do these people want to be? A family that hardens to survive? Or a family that stays soft enough to heal others and themselves? Every horse story in season 19 can answer that question in a new way. Every rivalry beat can test that answer under pressure. One more thread hums under everything. Pride in place. Alberta gave the show its look and its lungs. Green fields during a scripted drought were not a mistake. They were a reminder. The land has its own will. People adapt. Stories that honor that truth feel honest. Part 3 keeps the pace. We go deeper on character crossroads for Amy, Nathan, and Caleb. We examine the long game for Lou and Price Beef. We open the door on Katie's first love arc, and the ripple it could send through the entire ranch. Every season turns on a single choice. Season 19 stacks those choices and asks everyone to answer at once. Amy's first choice is simple to say and hard to live. How do you love fully while honoring the past? She knows what it means to build a life with someone who shares your work. She knows what it costs to lose it. Her compass has always been the horse in front of her. A horse that spooks at shadows teaches patience. A horse that leans on the bit teaches firm kindness. Those lessons become vows she can keep. Tell the truth. Do the work. Do not run when it gets hard. Nathan's first choice is loyalty. He cannot split himself forever between love and blood. His sister has a plan that circles like a hawk. He needs to draw a boundary and hold it when the wind rises. If he stands with Amy, it will be because he chose to stand, and not because peace was easier. That kind of stand has power. That kind of stand also invites heat. Caleb's first choice is dignity. He has given years of sweat to this land and these people. If he fights for Amy, he must do it in a way that respects her. No pressure, no guilt. Only action that proves who he is when the barn lights go out and the storm starts. If he walks away, he does not abandon the ranch. He trusts others to carry the load for a while. That trust is its own form of love. Lou's first choice is duty. The ranch needs a shield that policy can provide. Price Beef will file and lobby and call in favors. They will present growth charts and call it progress. Lou can counter with facts that carry a heartbeat. Sustainable grazing plans that protect soil. Water agreements that serve both ranchers and towns. Fair transport routes that keep small players alive. It is not romance. It is survival through smart design. Jack and Tim sit at the table with their own choices. Jack believes in steady hands and long memories. He will push for patience when tempers rise. Tim believes in decisive moves that break stalemates. He will push for action when patience looks like surrender. They have fought before and will fight again. They also know how to meet in the middle when family is on the line. Katie's arc brings light into the heavy rooms. First love does not ask permission. It arrives with a smile and a small disaster. Maybe a missed cue in the arena that turns into a lesson. Maybe a shared chore that becomes a promise. She will stretch. She will misjudge. She will get back up. Guided by Amy's quiet wisdom and Jack's unshakable calm, she will learn what strong love looks like from people who have paid for it. Now widen the frame. The land itself is a character that never stops speaking. A wet spring can turn hay rich and fragrant. A dry snap can pull that promise away in a week. Season 19 can use those swings to put real weight on choices. Do you sell early and cut losses? Do you gamble on a late rain? Do you share feed with a neighbor who has less, knowing you might need help later? This is the math of ranch life. It writes scenes that do not need speeches. Expect one showcase horse arc to test everyone at once. A high-value cutting prospect that refuses to track cattle. A reining pattern that keeps falling apart at the same turn. A barrel horse with speed but no trust at the gate. Amy will take the lead. Nathan will bring patience and a willingness to try what others avoid. Caleb will step in when muscle is needed and tempers are thin. Success will not come from force. It will come from small wins that add up. Stand still. Breathe. Try again. Those steps make a rider worth following and a family worth rooting for. Therapeutic riding can anchor the season's heart. A veteran who jumps at every loud sound. A teen who believes quiet means failure. A widow who shows up for a lesson and finds a reason to keep showing up. Horses do not heal people by magic. They give people a job to do that includes courage and care in the same breath. That mix is the medicine. Price Beef will not wait while the ranch finds its rhythm. They will press lenders and squeeze timelines. They will buy land that sits on water and fence access in ways that look legal and feel wrong. They will move the fight to rooms with microphones and deadlines. That is where Lou shines. She turns hard numbers into simple stories that neighbors can repeat at their own kitchen tables. She builds coalitions around what already works. A hay share that kept 13 small ranches alive last winter. A vet rotation that cut costs without cutting care. A transport loop that saved hours and diesel across the district. These are not talking points. They are proof. Now to the memory thread that holds the deepest question. Will Amy let herself remember without fear? If she does, flashbacks become bridges and not traps. A glance at a jacket that still smells like saddle soap. A hand that pauses on an old carving in the barn. A horse that lifts its head when she walks in because it remembers who taught it to trust. Short scenes that show love as work well done and time well spent. After each scene, she returns to the present with more peace and more resolve. That is not erasing the past. That is learning to carry it. The marriage rumor stays hot for a reason. Uniting two ranches changes the map. It creates leverage in deals that were tilted. It also creates friction on quiet mornings when bills get paid and priorities do not match. Whose brand marks the calves? Whose method sets the training plan? Whose name signs a contract with a supplier who once chose the other side? Tension is not failure. Tension is proof that the choice matters. Nathan's sister will test every seam in that choice. She will whisper doubt where trust is young. She will push legal lines until someone pushes back. Her moves force Nathan to act in public, not just in private. A single sentence spoken into a microphone can calm a room or light it on fire. If he chooses calm and backs it with action, he grows into the partner Amy needs. Caleb's next chapter arrives at the worst possible time, as it often does. A horse goes down in a storm and he is first on scene. A fence line fails at midnight, and he shows up with tools and a plan. A deal appears that could save a neighbor but puts him at odds with the family. Each moment asks him what kind of man he wants to be when no one is watching. Heartland loves men who earn trust with deeds. Caleb knows that language. Katie's love story will echo the earliest seasons, not with copycat beats, with the same core question: how do you keep your heart soft in a hard world? She will try to move too fast and learn why speed without trust leads to spills. She will try to protect someone she loves and learn that honesty protects better than silence. Her growth strengthens the whole family. It reminds them why they fight for this place. There is one more current running under everything. Legacy. Who inherits stories as much as land? Who learns the songs that horses know when hands are steady and voices are low? Season 19 can pass. That music down without losing the new beat it has found. The trailer will tease only a fraction of this. The season will carry the rest. We have one part left to pull the threads tight. Part 4 gathers predictions into a clear map. We will lay out the first 3 episodes as a likely arc. We will track the turning points that can make Season 19 the most complete chapter in years. We reach the turn where rumors meet choices. Season 19 lines up a first act that tests every promise these people have made to each other. Here is a likely map for the opening run. Episode 1 opens with work, not speeches. Fences need repair after a windstorm. A skittish mare bolts at a rattle in the grass. Amy takes the lead and slows the world to the rhythm of a calm breath. One step, then another. Trust begins with something small. Price Beef makes its first move in daylight. A slick rep arrives with courtesy and pressure hidden under polite words. A contract lands on the table. Short-term cash, long-term control. Jack reads the fine print and feels the trap close. Nathan's sister tests boundaries before breakfast. She tells one story at the feed store and another at the bank. She smiles when she says it is only business. It never is. Memory walks in without knocking. Amy opens a trunk to find an old jacket that still carries dust from a ride she can remember, with her eyes closed. The scene is short and honest. It ends with quiet resolve and a hand that steadies on a stall door. She turns back to the horse in front of her. The present asks for attention. She gives it. The episode closes on a choice postponed, not denied. A sealed letter sits on the kitchen table. The family gathers. No one reaches for it. Not yet. We lean forward and wait. Episode 2 raises the temperature. The council meets to discuss water access and grazing routes. The room is crowded and loud. Lou stands when the noise swells and speaks in clear lines. She ties numbers to names people know. She names winters everyone remembers. She offers a plan that protects small ranches and keeps the valley alive. It is not flashy. It is strong. A horse case carries the season's theme in a single body. A young gelding can track a cow but freezes at the gate. Amy shifts from pressure to patience and asks for less, not more. Nathan backs the new approach and earns ground where force failed. Caleb holds the line when the moment needs muscle and timing that only comes from years in the saddle. The horse takes a step that matters. The team does too. Katie stumbles into first love the way most people do. By accident. A shared chore becomes a shared joke. A small win becomes a private victory dance that someone else sees and remembers. She tries to move fast and learns why trust cannot be rushed. She gets up and tries again with better hands. Price beef squeezes while the family breathes. A feed shipment reroutes with a single phone call. A loan officer delays a meeting that used to take 10 minutes. A rumor spreads that the ranch will sell by winter. None of it is true. All of it hurts. The episode closes with a public promise. Lou files a motion that forces a hearing. The room does not cheer. It exhales. We feel the fight settle into a shape we can follow. Episode 3 tightens the knot. The sealed letter opens at last. An offer, a threat, a memory of a debt owed that no one wanted to talk about. The details matter less than the weight. The family needs one voice. Amy and Nathan step outside with a decision no one else can make for them. Do they choose a future together now? Or do they wait until the fires cool? Waiting looks safe. Choosing looks brave. Both carry cost. Caleb arrives in the middle of the storm with action, not words. He fixes what he can fix. He refuses to push what he has no right to push. Dignity holds. The showcase horse arc hits its first peak. Cattle work turns messy when the herd breaks and a gate jams at the wrong second. Amy calls for calm and the team answers. They turn chaos into order one breath at a time. It is not perfect. It is enough. Nathan's sister crosses a line that cannot stand. Nathan draws a boundary with steady eyes. He chooses a side where everyone can see it. Trust begins to settle in new places. The episode closes on a clear table. No letters, no rumors. Only people who have chosen how to stand. We feel the season aiming at a mid-season surge with weight and purpose. Now the outlook for the stretch that follows. If the leaks hold, Amy and Nathan will build their bond in daylight. No sneaking, no half measures. They will test that bond under pressure that matters. A bill that arrives higher than expected. A horse that needs a call no one wants to make. A meeting where a partner must speak first and the other must listen. Small choices will prove the big ones. Flashbacks will arrive like soft rain and leave before the ground floods. A ride at dusk we never saw. A conversation that turns into a promise that still shapes the present. Each scene adds light. Each scene removes a little weight. By the time the memories slow, Amy's steps feel steady. Lou's plan picks up allies across the valley. A co-op forms around hay and transport. A shared vet rotation cuts costs without cutting care. A water framework protects the creek that feeds everyone from ridge to road. The wins are incremental and real. Price beef adjusts and presses new angles. The fight becomes a campaign, not a skirmish. Caleb's path curves toward leadership whether he asks for it or not. People follow the one who shows up when the radio is quiet and the sky turns mean. He will face a choice that costs him something he values. He will make it anyway. Respect will follow. Katie's story carries spark and lesson. She learns that love is more than heat. It is honesty at the wrong time and care when no one is clapping. Her steps echo early seasons in ways that feel fresh. Her growth becomes a mirror the older generation did not know they needed. Jack and Tim continue their long dance between patience and force. They clash. They cool down. They shake hands over coffee before dawn. Their balance keeps the family from tipping when the wind shifts twice in one day. The season's themes stay clear. Love that chooses. Work that matters. Land that speaks in weather and grass and the way a horse lowers its head when a hand is kind. Now the final hooks that keep the heart engaged. Will the marriage happen in a way that strengthens the valley instead of just one ranch? Will lose. Plan hold when the numbers turn against her for a week that feels like a year. Will Price Beef learn that a community with long memory cannot be bought like a line item on a ledger? Will Caleb step away or step higher? Will Katie hold her soft heart without letting it be used? Most of all, what kind of family will they be when the dust settles? Hard or open, scared or brave, brittle or strong enough to bend and not break? Season 19 has the pieces to answer with: weight and grace. Horses at the center, people who try, Land that keeps its own time. If the first 3 episodes follow this map, the mid-season turn will arrive with momentum and a sense that every choice counts. The cameras are rolling. The stakes are set. The door to the barn is open. Step through with them and see who they become.